Good day, citizens. It is 1:19 a.m. on 7/31/2021, and I know my consistency of video making is a little erratic, and that's just because some of the stuff weighs heavy on my mind. I don't consider myself right or left. I don't consider myself red pill or blue pill. I consider myself one of the black pilled, and that might alarm some of you. But I want you to understand, when I say black pilled, that means that I understand the darkness of this world. And the reason I started to make these videos is because evil will always exist. And not that you should harp on negativity, but you have to realize that it exists to combat it. And I'm not going to go on some egotistical rant on saying that I'm trying to make the world a better place or change everything for the good, because I'm just one man in a sea of many fish, and sharks and whales will always be out there with more control than I will ever have. But I like to make these videos because I like to awaken subconsciously or cognitively those of you who will listen. And today I want to talk about DeFi, and I'm going to read this here. I'm going to read out what Wikipedia says that decentralized finance is. Decentralized finance, commonly referred to as DeFi, is a blockchain-based form of finance that does not rely on central financial intermediaries such as brokerages, exchanges, or banks to offer traditional finance instruments, and instead utilizes smart contracts on blockchains, the most common being Ethereum. DeFi platforms allow people to lend or borrow funds from others, speculate on price movements on a range of assets using derivatives, trade cryptocurrencies, insure against risks, and earn interest in saving-like accounts. I'm gonna end it there, and I'll read this part. By October 2020, over 11 billion worth in cryptocurrency was deposited in various decentralized finance protocols, which represented more than a tenfold growth during the course of 2020. As of January 2021, approximately 20.5 billion was invested in DeFi. And I'm going to talk about that because this is really important, especially if you're a US citizen. And there's a couple things I want to talk about, but I don't want to go jumping in rabbit holes and seem like a conspiracy theorist. But besides Ethereum, we know that if you use something like PancakeSwap, which I personally love, that uses the Binance Smart Chain mainnet, right? And if you use something like Uniswap or Ellipsis or SushiSwap or 1inch or any of these other decentralized exchanges that operate on DeFi, then you will know that they will use different networks. But I want to give you guys an example here of just something. This is PancakeSwap personally that I use. And by staking 100 Pancake, I've already accumulated 5.66 cake in rewards, which is equal to 86.18 US dollars. I've also staked cake here in an Axie pool, this is running on DeFi, and I'm at the current market value I've made 0.22 of Axie, and that's equivalent to 10.23 US dollars. And why am I showing you this? Because if you look at pools that aren't staked, these are all DeFi pools that are available for you to stake money in. They have different percentages, and they run on different contracts for these DeFi exchanges that are rated in days and how many hashes that blockchain will go through. But you pretty much take money in one coin, stake it into a project, and make rewards in another project, and then you can claim your initial staked money back. And the government, they absolutely hate this because there's no, what I'm about to say is controversial, but there is no paper trail. There's no hard trail. You can move this from MetaMask to another wallet and then back and forth a million times and switch around to different coins and make it a real pain in the ass for the government to follow and evade taxes. And that's the real thing that they hate. They hate that you can evade taxes. But let's be honest. Let's say you make a whole lot of money. You were staking since way back in the day, and you're making 1 cake, 2 cake, 3 cake a day, and you're making $100, $1,000 a day. Eventually, you're going to want to put that on a Fiat off ramp, and they do KYC, which is know your customer. They're going to find out. Eventually, under the guise of saying we want to fight money laundering and terrorism, they're gonna implement these things. And I'm not the only one saying this, but and I'm not saying it just because I watch videos on this, but it's common sense, and people, they want to believe that the world's a good place, and I'm with you. There's tons of good things out there, but like I said, I'm black pilled. I'm a realist. The powers that are in control will never relinquish that. They just won't until you have not coups or collapses, but until you have awakening within the consciousness of the people. Something that would be considered that I think would be great to consider that would be when America revolted from England. I know that might tick some people off, but it led to this great country that was built, that eventually went through its own trials and tribulations, right? Yeah, we did some mistakes. We made lots of mistakes, but it was growing pains. And I think we've reached this point in our democracy where eventually we'll fall again, and it's because of the way that senators and governors are coming after the wealth of the people and stifling innovation. And I'm going to play this clip here, and this is by Warren Davison, and I forget what congressman of what state he's actually from, but just listen to what he has to say about a proposed bill in the U.S. for infrastructure. Sorry if you're not a U.S. citizen, but I think this ripples across the ocean. Eventually will hit you too.
The government it really doesn't need to be doing what they're trying to do with this bill. They basically decided we're going to try to tax crypto more than what you're already taxing it. It's already an obligation to report, gains and losses on crypto when you fill out your tax returns. But they scored this bill to say we're going to fund an additional $28 billion by driving a reporting requirement. Now, the language is very sloppy in it. And so literally you would report to the IRS not just gains and losses, but essentially any activity that you would, let's say you make mining equipment and you sold a mining server to somebody. You would have to track and report that. You would have to, if you delivered the package that had the mining equipment in it, if you make hardware wallets, I mean, everything that you think of, you would have a reporting requirement to the Treasury. So they believe that because they would track all this information, that the federal government would collect an additional $28 billion in tax revenue. But because it's not defined, really not even constrained on who would have to report under this, they could have put any number on it because it's just kind of a phantom number. And so that's how some of this language winds up in there. And so who put the language in? The Treasury Department did, and that should concern us because just at the end of last year, Treasury was essentially trying to kill, personal wallets, digital wallets.
And this, if you understand what he's saying, it's nothing new. If you're a realist, they're going to tax the lower class. They're going to tax those who are trying to rise up in the higher brackets and don't understand how to play the game that the rich and the elites try to play. And I'm sorry if this video sounds kind of off the wall, but I want to make this video because if somebody will listen and they understand what I'm saying, you're going to understand how to use these tools, how to make money, and eventually when the fight does come, if a fight comes to talk to your senator and stuff, a lot of these guys, they don't have a fucking clue. And part of my language, but they don't even understand they don't know what DeFi is or wallets. Some of these guys, they don't even understand what blockchain is. And I'm not going to go on tangents about what political parties or what candidates. But have you seen how old some of them are? Have you seen some of the shit that the SEC is trying to do? I mean, if you see the things that happened with Kick and EOS and all the lawsuits back in the day that happened, and you see what's happening with Ripple, if you don't understand that it's a joke, I'm not I apologize. It's not really a joke, but if you don't understand the conspiracy and the bullshit behind this and the games that they're playing to manipulate people's money, God bless you, man. Um, Personally, and this is specifically with XRP, that's a coin that I think will be used, and if that causes you to unsubscribe, I don't care. If it causes some new subscriber to subscribe, hello and welcome. Um, you are not going to beat the institutions. You are not going to beat world governments, and they're gonna run their games, and they're gonna run the control all the way down to people's throats. And until more people understand what crypto is or start caring, until they start understanding how they're going to start getting taxed harder, until all their stuff is going to be start being tracked, because it already is. I mean, your Facebook, your Twitter, all this stuff, your information isn't private. And if you don't understand how that's connected, I'd really advise you to come here to Intervision's channel and listen to the things that Edward Snowden has said. Even if you don't like the guy, just hear him out. And then listen to this. This is 3 years ago. This is a great channel. It's called Valuetainment with David Patrick Bett, I think is his name. He's a cool guy. He comes out with some great content. And he has John McAfee here. And if you don't know who that is, he died a couple weeks ago. And this is him talking about some of this stuff. These guys understood crypto before crypto was mainstream. They understood that games would come about where you make game currencies. And this is a version of DeFi too. I can take a game currency here and flip it to other crypto, then come to another site like this and swap it for other cryptos. And this is what they want to shut down. This is what they want to track. Why? Just so they can tax it? Why? My money that was put into these coins was already taxed. Why do you have to tax me again? And why don't you just tax me when I cash out a base percentage if I go to Coinbase or Binance or Kraken or somewhere else? You know what I mean? They're going to get their chunk of meat. They're going to get their pound of flesh to say, and they're going to make you feel that you're not worth your salt. I'm not here to tell you that you are. And I mean, that's really what this video is. I mean, I've made a video on this too a couple days ago, and this is Rabbit Finance. I was staking my cake here on Pancake Swap, and they had a pool here that you could see where you could stake, and for every $1,000 you would make about 11.84 rabbit a day. Now that changes with price, but I then turned around and staked that rabbit, and the pools here have changed, so I moved it to a farm, and I put it in the farm, and it's not much, right? But I've made 15 rabbit within the past like 3 or 4 days. Now you can come to the boardroom here and you can see that rabbit is 20 cents a coin at the current market value at this current time. So that means the money that I staked on cake to earn rabbit and then put around and turn around and put it around into the rabbit finance, and I'm now staking on rabbit, I'm now making more money, right? That's what they hate. They hate to see you make money. And according to what they're saying, and that's asinine and stupid. Why do you not want your people to prosper, especially after this COVID-19 virus? Wouldn't you want your people to prosper? Because we turn around and we invest more in other things, and we spend that money, and we usually take that money and buy real estate or buy products and then grow our own economies. It's just asinine to me, and it doesn't make any sense. And I think our government and our senators are really screwing up. The whole thing with banning wallets that they were talking about, the whole thing with the Ripple decay. No, don't stifle innovation. It's time to let loose the dogs of war, which I'm saying that in as a Marine, but like, let the people run with this and see where it goes, because the potential is far greater. I understand counterterrorism, all right? I was a jarhead. But the things they're doing under the name of fighting terrorism isn't fighting terrorism. They're fighting their people, and they're making their people's lives harder, and that's just ridiculous. You don't slash down your own citizens and expecting growth of your country. You just don't. That's not how it works. You awaken more people subconsciously to what's going on, and they'll tell you when stuff's wrong. They have no problem reporting things and talking about it, especially in today's nanny state. But we won't get into that. But let's be real. I just wanted to talk about that and want to explain a little bit about DeFi and why you should care, especially as an American citizen. If this is going over your head, I apologize, but look into it and understand what's going on, because we're going to become more and more virtual. Things are going to become more and more blockchain and digital based. And if you're not understanding now and you're not buying in and you're not learning this stuff, you're going to get left behind. And I'm gonna end this video here, but yeah, just wanted to send that message out. Know it's a little late, a little early, depending on what way you look at it, but y'all have a good one and stay blessed.